This video is going to be called Reflections of War in Dresden, Germany. And I have an interesting relationship with Dresden, but it is also very relevant to today because so many people in this country are being convinced by the media and by just some of the worst people alive that somehow the conflict in Ukraine is worth going to war with Russia. So I wanted to remind people what war is really like and how unnecessary it is and why it's a lot more sinister than we can even fathom. So this is just an image, one of the before and afters, the devastation and then the clearing out. And especially in the Tartaria mud flood universe, this is extremely relevant today because just people, manpower, cleared this out. A lot of different people over the years, and some machines obviously, but a lot of manpower. And I mean, trucks and things were taking stuff out, but the people were doing the extra excavating basically and taking all of this out. And you'll see some of the pictures and just what a ridiculous way to reset an incredible, immaculate, ancient city. And this place started, look at this, 796 jets and just tons of weaponry, and they just blew up an entire place that wasn't even a real total threat. It was just a cultural hub, a transportation and industrial hub of Germany that was just amazing. It seemed like an absolutely immaculate city. I've been trying to find pictures before and stories of before of Dresden. It seems like a lot of things were destroyed or just aren't possible to see just exactly how amazing some of these buildings were. But I'm going to try to show you a glimpse in this of the before and after. But look at the devastation and look at the history that's just destroyed for what? Like really? Like Dresden? Like there was no, like so many civilians were killed, so much damage occurred, and why? Like they can't even really explain. And you'd think something with this much devastation would be demanding of a firm explanation in the eyes of all of the world. Otherwise, you'd think normal people all over the place would condemn this. But it kind of gets swept under the rug, especially back in the day without the internet and when everyone was very distanced in their capturing of information. So look at these places, though. All of these civilian targets. And that's like, I don't know what's happening in Ukraine now, but I know it's definitely a lot different than this. This was like just a complete blanket bombing of a city, devastating every single bit of its value. And I'm assuming this is probably happening in some of the places in Ukraine. And is this the same force? Is this the same overwhelming force where they make the politicians and all these political reasons end up being the justification, whereas on the other side there's a deeper truth that maybe they just want a lot of things destroyed and they want quote-unquote reset. So 1,800 tons of bombs, you know, this like magnesium, using Agent Orange, using napalm, using all these amazing things and just devastating an ancient culture. And I think Germany is very well connected to Tartaria and one of the remaining places of the ancient empire that was intentionally eradicated from our history in the whenever, 1700, 1800s, way before that, who knows. But these buildings, you got to think about this, a lot of these buildings were considered thousands, 1,000 at least years old, or at least 500, 600, 700 years old. Some of these cathedrals, whatever they were, these power plants, these different buildings, these architectural masterpieces that were hundreds and hundreds, thousands, maybe 1,000 years old, and they made it all the way to World War II, World War I, with all these stuff. They made it all the way to this 40s without getting destroyed until like humanity comes in, discovers planes, and instead of like finding the North Pole and going to Maru, let's just blow cities up. Let's use this aerial transport as a way to destroy the remnants of these people's history and the people that were here before, the giants that were here before. Let's let the people do all the cleaning. We'll give them a story that keeps their hearts pumping, keeps them doing the incredibly hard work, and then we'll cash in on it in the end and make the new rounds. And look at this. Look at these ancient ruins here. And this looks like Petra. This looks like so many other places you see in Assyria, in Iran, all over the place, in the middle of the deserts, in Africa, all these different places in ruins. Algeria, there's a Timgad, there's all different kinds of places, and they look kind of like this, but they're given dates that are ancient. Pompeii was ruined by a volcano, but it looks similar to this almost. But just more, a little bit more time, but how much, we really have no idea. And so all these different things, artists, all the different people, young, old, joining together and doing the work, and which is amazing, because if you were to blow up America, you would not have this kind of unity nowadays with the rebuilding process. It does not seem like. And these are the people, the suits that travel around, and they have the architectural plans, and they're re-envisioning the city. And you got to wonder, were they a part of it? They look very happy. They know they're going to profit from it. Anytime someone profits from disaster and nightmare of innocent people, you have to wonder. Same with the modern time, all these mask companies that profited. But look at these, all these homes destroyed, all these schools, hospitals, churches, an amazing list of unnecessary devastation. And this is what war is. This is what those people on Facebook are saying. Oh, we must kill Putin. We must go to war with Putin over something we don't even know, over lies and made up things. If you were to tell, again, these people in Dresden that, look at these buildings first. But if you were to tell these people that they're going to fake wars in the future, they would be disgusted. Look what they turned that building into. That amazing building with ruins, artifacts inside it. I wonder if they were probably not even able to excavate any of the artifacts out. And then who came in and looted it? This also looks a lot like San Francisco, Boston, Galveston, Texas. All the different cities around the world that blew up with all different stories. Oh, Chicago burned down because a cow tipped over a candle. And then all of a sudden you get devastation very similar to this, as if bombs were always being dropped. Were they being dropped from blimps before? From vimanas in ancient times? Like, how deep do these things go? A lot of these look mud flooded. A lot of these have just origins that are just completely eviscerated. Nobody knows the point of them, the idolatry, the imagery on them, the architects, all lost to time because America and other people just had to pay the war machine, feed the industrial monster that still rages today. And why would no people want this? Again, nobody wants this. People can be convinced they do, but when it comes to their doorstep, they don't. And look at this. Look at that immaculate design. That is definitely hundreds and possibly thousands of years old. And it just get ruined overnight for nothing. And no one has to answer for it. None of these people that bombed these things in Dresden had to answer for it, and it's absolutely sickening. And it's funny because I actually had a chance to go to Dresden once when we were on tour. Me and my band, De Repress, were on tour in Europe. And we went to Dresden, and it was insane. I definitely partied a little too hard, but I also got roofied there. And I can remember it perfectly. And I almost didn't feel like I was incredibly sick. It was actually one of the most nightmarish things in my life because I was walking home with two of my friends at the end of the night, and I was fighting to not pass out. And I was seeing all these blown up buildings, all these just it looked like remnants of it was just absolutely terrifying. And I thought I was going to actually get killed. And I remember the guy that did it to me, and I remember thinking after, I don't feel bad for that guy because I know what my country inevitably did to maybe his ancestors, maybe his family. And I would probably do the same if someone destroyed America and then I saw them partying in my town. But it's why does that hate even have to occur amongst fellow civilians who are all being punished by the same controllers? It shouldn't. We have to get beyond this. We have to get beyond this weird phase of humanity where we're allowing people that profit from war to ruin the lives of amazing amounts of innocent people worldwide. And especially to convince the people. They know that if they can convince the masses, in America especially, then the politicians, it'll make more sense when the politicians say, okay, it's time to go to war. It's time to blow up everyone. It's time to start nuclear war. This is worth it. But they can't get the people to do it. No matter how hard they try, no matter how hard they manipulate, no matter how hard they fake it, they can't get people to be convinced that they want this devastation to happen to their cities. So will they end up just pushing it on their own and just go ahead with their plan to reset, to eventually level, to clear, to make way for the next generation, to destroy all our books, all our culture that we grew up with, and plant this new AI reality of these hybrid species of monster that they're trying to create in every possible way, that these dorks, these absolute losers that work for the most evil people on earth just continuously strive every day to make the entire innocent humanity pay, and they're still just roaming free. They're still able to kind of do this, able to profit, able to preach, able to travel wherever they want, able to go anywhere, do anything. They don't have to be masked. They don't have any passports. They don't have anything. They can do anything. And we cannot allow there to be such a distinction between classes. We need to all have the ultimate freedom and create a world where it's possible, and create a world where these monsters that devastate for profit and for evil, corrupt means, that they can never do it again. And look at this. This reminds me of Tartaria remnants. In Tartaria, Tibet, the connection all over the place. And was this all just, again, to erase that part of history? We know that they did an amazing job. Erasing all of this eliminates all that history for every generation beyond it. They can never go back and look at this building and look inside it and see what was on the walls, see the artifacts in it, and learn from it. We can never do that. We can never go back and figure out this architect, figure out these methods. All these things are gone now. They've been wiped out by war, by useless, pathetic, unnecessary, evil war that no one on earth wants except these monsters. And were these people the ones that conquered the giants? Like this evil force of explosive weaponry? Were they the ones that conquered the giants who built all this originally? And we were their pets? Who knows? But either way, I know I want no more war. And I'm hoping you all do too. This is an old random artwork from when they were, I think, probably Syria. God knows when I drew this. Just kind of a little tiny drawing. No more war. All kinds of interesting symbols in there. But again, it's time for peace on Earth. So I hope we can achieve it all together, because I know that when we do, and when we exist in a world that we were destined for, our potential will be limitless, and the perfection will be everywhere, and overwhelming everybody with good. Evil will be gone, and the miracles will just be nonstop. It's coming. We got to work for it. Bless you all. As a little bonus, I came across some images of Dresden in its primo time before the disasters, and I just had to share them because, oh my God, like, look at this. This stuff is just absolutely remarkable. Like, wow, how did this stuff happen? Martin Luther, who was he really? Who were all these people really? Or who was really that statue pedestal made for? Was it him, or was that just the repurposed version? But look, this shows some of the reconstruction after the bombing, and it's just like, oh, wow. It's even impressive that they were able to reconstruct a lot of this stuff, but still, nothing like that. And I've heard people talking about bricks being power sources, power devices. Look at that to the right. That thing looks like it is an ether-gathering monster, a behemoth of some form of technology and that we have no idea about. And the bells, I know, have a part. I was even thinking recently that what if the bells were there to create a resonant coding on the ether, or to activate the ether? Maybe different frequencies and different pitches coincided with the ability to do different things, or different messages, or different vibes and energies getting sent out. And maybe it was able to conduct electricity even on that, or send frequencies through the ether, internet-wise, back then in the ancient times. Who knew? Telepathy, who knows? They were just clearly on a whole nother level, so nothing can be put out. All of these are depictions. These aren't stories. These are depictions of a reality on Earth at one point. And all of these buildings, when they were in their prime, were sustained within that reality. They were from that reality, a product of it, a creation within that reality. We are so gone from that. But I think we can get back. There's more to know. When we get beyond the poles and we see this happening now, we will see, once and for all, what we were destined for. Bless you all.